What they need to do is, if the Fed comes out and says inflation is 9.6%, your local, your state, and your federal government ought to have to cut 9.6%.
Times there's a man, he's the man for his time and place. He fits right in there. And that's the dude.
So, you little tax slaves, let me ask you something. What congressman, what politician, local, state, what are any of them talking about battling inflation? Yeah, the Democrats got a battling inflation bill that spends more. How's that going to battle inflation? Federal Reserve says they're going to battle inflation by printing more money. And your local politicians, they're not saying diddly squat about battling inflation, they're just spending more. Now, the way to battle inflation is to quit printing money and quit spending money out of thin air. But your local politicians don't say nothing. They say nothing, like Sergeant Schultz. I say nothing. I see nothing.
Oh, I see nothing. I was not here. I did not even get up this morning.
And so that now we're in this catch-22 because they won't cut spending at your local level. No, they're going to increase taxes as their costs rise, as their people are suffering from inflation in prices and rent and groceries. So they're going to take care of them because, you know, they love you. In other words, the politicians are more concerned about the public employees than they are the public. See, at this point in time, they need to be cutting spending and holding the line on pay increases. I'm sorry for the people that decided to volunteer to take a job in the public sector, hoping that they'll have all this retirement and vacation and all health care and the whole 9 yards on the public dime. That's the reason they took it in the first place. Security. Well, now they've got it and the public is suffering for it. We need to cut spending on every level. And what they need to do is, if the Fed comes out and says inflation is 9.6%, your local, your state, and your federal government ought to have to cut 9.6% across the board. Every time that inflation goes up, because they created the Federal Reserve, printing money out of thin air, they ought to have to cut spending the amount that the official inflation rate is. And let's see how that goes. Why don't you call your local politicians, your little political whores? Call them and tell them, cut spending the amount of inflation. And they'll say something about, what about the employees? Well, let whatever employees you need to let go. You're too damn big anyway. State, federal, if you got a representative, which you can't have a representative, that's impossible. He represents himself or she or whatever they determine they are, trans, whatever, like Lola. Anyway, call them and tell them, cut your spending. We can't pay for this big-ass government. We can't pay for swamp parks, spec buildings, economic development for the benefit of corporations. Yep, there's hell to pay with a big government, boys and girls. Till next time. Peace.